This is the Personal Finance Show.
Hi, I'm Bo Humphreys, and this is the Personal Finance Show. Did you know that it can cost $30,000 to hire someone in the tech industry? Let's say you have a company and you want to hire a data scientist or a mobile developer. Maybe you'll pay them a $100,000 salary. Tech recruitment companies could charge you 30% of that first year's salary to find you the right person. Why would you pay this much to hire someone? Well, hiring is complicated. You want to find the right person, but you might not have the network or the resources to do that. You don't want to waste your time and end up having to settle for whoever's available. So that's why recruiters exist. They're specialists. Plus, the best people are going to go to the Googles and Microsofts of the world, and if you're a small company, they may not even know you exist. But there's got to be a better way than spending $30,000 to hire someone, right? That's what Brian Daley thought when he started his new company, SmartRefer, which is the first open-source employee referral platform to leverage blockchain technology. Brian didn't start out in the recruiting business or the tech business, but he always had this philosophy of keeping his options open and constantly building skills and relationships. Let's hear Brian's personal finance story and how his personal philosophy has led him to where he is today.
Earliest memory, so I had gone to Jamaica. My family's from Jamaica.
Okay.
I was 5, and we flew there. And I was obsessed. I wanted a Game Boy.
Okay, yeah.
Back in Canada. You know, that was like the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted one of those. But in Canada, at that point, a Game Boy was, I don't know, maybe like $80 or something like that.
Okay.
So went to Jamaica, and my grandmother said, oh, you know, go down the street and pick up a box of patties for us. And she gave me $500 Jamaican.
Okay, which was how much of that time?
Which is like $3.
Oh, okay,
or something,
yeah.
Right? But me being a kid, I see 500. I know the Game Boy's 80.
What?
Right? So I'm like, okay, instead of going to get the patties, I'm going to the electronics store and gonna buy me a Game Boy. So run to the electronics store, put that $500 down, and I'm like, all right, get me a Game Boy, man. And he's like, yeah, that'll be $100,000.
Yeah, here's the picture of a Game Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because you're a kid and then you don't know any better.
Exactly.
So $100,000, yeah.
And that was when I first learned about different currencies.
There you go. Foreign currency.
Foreign currencies.
So did you spend a lot of time in Jamaica?
I've gone there a lot as a kid. Went back and forth a lot. I went when I was 1 and 5, and then a bunch when I was, in my teen years. So good amount of my family's there.
Yeah. So you learned this is an early lesson about, what you can actually buy with money, and don't just assume you can go buy something or that everything's equivalent.
Exactly.
That's a good one. And so, do you remember having like any kind of bank account when you were growing up or anything like that?
Yeah.
Do you remember being a saver? Did you take the money from birthdays or whatever and save that stuff?
So I was not naturally a saver at all.
No.
My stepmom works in finance. She's an absolute genius. And so
great.
She started training me from a really early age to be diligent with finance, but I resisted.
Yeah,
like every child would, because I wanted games and all of that stuff. So she actually had given me, it's like what do you call it? Those kind of like accounting books that you record all of your purchases. Yeah, she basically, because back then it was paper, it wasn't electronic.
So she gave you a ledger to record.
To record everything I would spend from my allowance, how much I'd get, and just to be diligent, just so I could look at how much I was spending on different things from when I was, I think, maybe 9.
But you didn't use it? Or
9, I did.
Okay.
But I resisted, but I did.
I feel like she had a way to make you do this.
Yeah, I feel like they gave me like an extra $1 if I recorded it or something like that.
Out?
Yeah, which was a pretty good incentive,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And I think my first big purchase using that method was a Game Boy.
Yeah, of course, because you've been thinking about it all this time.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you actually earned money for yourself?
Yeah.
Just the first job, maybe? Or
it was actually, I used to go to garage sales every Saturday morning with my dad.
Yeah,
he wanted to teach me how to negotiate.
Oh, that's
so he'd
what
bring
great
me there.
Early skills.
Yeah, he would bring me there, early. I'd wake up like 7. We'd hit all the 5 that were in the neighborhood at the time.
And
he'd basically be like, okay, see that? That's actually worth $5. I want you to get it for $3. And so we go, get whatever it was, and then I resold.
Where would you resell it?
When we had our own garage sales.
Oh,
for
smart.
hire. Yeah, or to my friends.
So you learned how to do arbitrage.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people do this for a living.
100%.
They'll go to yard sales and on eBay or Amazon, and they'll actually do this. Now, of course, this takes up all of your time, and it has to be something that you want to be spending your time in doing. Just like if you were, not that the arbitrage is illegal, but if you're like a ticket scalper, there's a lot of ways to make money.
For sure.
It's not always like me, but maybe you end up being good at it, and then you do that. But I'm assuming that this didn't become your full-time gig.
It didn't. But it was definitely my first foray into sales, and arbitrage, as you said.
Yeah, I'm sure it definitely came in handy later on in life. But do you remember anything about like working during high school or anything like that?
Yeah. So high school, my first real job was at No Frills.
Okay,
I worked in
No Frills.
Yeah.
Not fast food, but you did groceries instead.
Produce department.
Ah, there you go.
Unpacking bananas and watermelons and every other fruit. That was a great first job. I would also shovel snow for my neighbors in the winter to make extra money. And then I was also working in retail at a clothing store.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So this was all at the same time in high school?
It staggered a bit.
Okay,
so I think grade 12 I had 2 jobs. In college I had 3 or 4, I think, at one point.
So what's this money for in high school? Like, why are you working all these jobs? Why do you need this money?
My parents were pretty... They wanted me to be able to buy my own stuff.
Okay,
They were good when it came to like necessities and that kind of stuff, but they wanted me to be able to get my own stuff.
Okay.
They thought it was important that I worked, so that's kind of what I did, just get in that habit.
Yeah, so I guess that's good motivation. Like, you want that thing? We'll go get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like connecting.
You're not doing it for like rent. You don't have to pay your rent or anything.
No.
But it's like it's a thing that a teenager wants.
Yes.
And that's perfect. So but you're not saving any money at this point, or are you? What about school? You know how you're going to pay for school?
Yeah. So my parents put away a bit of money for me, but I ended up getting a pretty big scholarship leaving high school.
Oh, good.
So that was good. So they that cut down the cost.
How'd you get that scholarship? Did you apply?
I applied and I went through all these interviews for it, and then I got it. It was from this Association of Black Law Enforcers, because at the time I wanted to be a police officer.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, and so there's this huge banquet. It was great. It was a really great experience.
So because I've been reading that people are missing out on like free money because they're just not going through the process of applying.
Yeah.
And you had all of these different options probably. Did you apply to a bunch of different ones or just a specific one?
I just applied to that really because my guidance counselor came to me and said, hey, we think you might get this.
Yeah.
Based on academics and like extracurriculars and stuff like that, which I did a lot of.
Definitely. What's the objective of this?
Yeah, they made it into the podcast.
Yeah.
So, but you got this, and so it was it a full ride, or just like
it was
hedging it a bit?
It was about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about a year.
It's good to start.
Yeah, for sure.
But your parents, did they have RESPs as well?
They did. They had RESPs.
That's great.
Unfortunately, I started school right after 2008. The market went down.
Oh, no.
So a lot of what they put away the market hadn't recovered quite yet when they had to pay for my tuition.
Man.
Yeah, that was something. But hey, that's life.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in school. You did go for law enforcement?
No. So what ended up happening was I had gotten offered a job as a loss prevention officer, which would have. I had a lot of connections in the police force, and I had a choice to kind of go work in something similar and then move into the police force, like apply, go through the process. And then I got another offer. I was walking downtown one day and I saw somebody doing a charity fundraising on the corner of the street.
Yeah.
And they stopped me and we were just talking for a bit. And she was like, hey, I think you'd be really good at this. And I was like, huh.
What?
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, like this is a really hard job.
That wasn't just an angle for her to get a sale?
Yeah, well, I didn't give it to her, so she didn't get it regardless. But, she was like, yeah, I think you'd be good at this. And I left and I gave it some thought and I was like, yeah, if I could do this, I could probably do anything.
Hey, yeah.
Because it's a hard job. So
so you did?
I turned down the other job offer I had and did that for a year.
Wait, just on this like a street corner?
Yeah. So
what are you doing? Just getting donations?
Yeah, I was working for Plan Canada.
Okay. And you make money doing
that?
that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're
really?
paid. Yeah, you're paid.
I thought it was just volunteer positions.
No,
so some of them are, no?
No. Well, not really for fundraising for that organization, anyway. Some of the others, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah.
But
sure.
they want to make sure that you're paid because it's a job just like anything else. You're out there, you're using a skill set. It's not something everybody can do.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, it's hard to sell things, especially if they're not your own things.
Exactly.
I find you end up working for Plan Canada just randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. My gut was just like, just do this, and then you'll probably get a really valuable skill.
Yeah, which was what exactly?
Which was the ability to really sell, because with most sales, you're selling like a product, but this you're selling a feeling.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that's probably a transferable skill to almost anything, because really everything in life is sales.
But you're getting shot down like 90% of 95%,
like
99% of the time.
And like I remember the first day I worked there, the first person I stopped, I signed them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got an early win.
Yeah, early win, which I think helped. But the second person I stopped threw hot coffee on me.
Oh no! Like really burned?
Yeah, they threw it on me, and I was like, well, I already won.
Okay. Let's stop there. Like, okay, maybe you don't want to sign up for Plan Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally respect that.
Hey.
But you just assaulted somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you even say? Like, can I have a moment of your time?
Yeah, I was like, hey. Like that was how I stopped people. I would just smile and be like, "Hey," and they're like, "No,"
Now, of course, we do have a name for. I don't know. I think it's maybe the other charities that give them a little worse reputation, but like we call them charity muggers.
Oh yeah,
that was the name for you. Did you get all that?
That and there were a few others. There's a British term. I can't remember it right now. That they have for it. Yeah, I mean, you're just a bad guy apparently.
But like it's really funny because it's like you're doing it for a good cause. But, I'm just walking home, and I just try to say, like, no, thank you, not interested, which is all that you
I don't even care if you don't answer me.
No,
I really don't care.
exactly. But that's the thing. You're learning how to hustle.
Yeah.
And did you have a quota in a day?
We did, yeah. So we were supposed to get minimum one.
Okay, okay, that's good. I like that, minimum.
Right?
What was good? What was good for a day?
2.
Okay, all right.
2 is good.
And this is a full day?
Yeah, so we'd start at 9 and finish around 5:30.
Wow, okay, so you're building these skills. Okay, but it doesn't sound like you're making lots of money.
No, wasn't making a lot of money, but...
And you had school debt? No, you didn't.
No, I had graduated at this point.
Just finished. And with no debt?
No debt.
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
See, we talk about the benefits of RESPs for kids, and if anyone listening still has a doubt as to how good this makes it for your kids.
So important.
There's such a difference between graduating. I was just talking with another guest, and he graduated with 80,000 because from the States.
Yeah.
80,000 USD, right? With no real plan. And you have to rely on the kindness of others during that period.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be a nice gift? And I don't really think it's a handout to your kid to help them pay for school. I really don't think so at all.
No, I mean, it's graduating without debt or as little as possible, it just gives you a lot more flexibility. You don't feel as rushed to get into the workforce to do something you don't want to do.
That's right.
Start off on a bad foot, which a lot of people I know had to do. They're just like, have to get a job, have to pay my student loans. And they went at it as soon as possible, and maybe the path they took wasn't what was best for them.
And you know that you need to get a job.
Yeah.
But and it's not like there's not a fire lit under you. You have to make money to live. Because no one else is going to help you with that. So I feel like it maybe took a while before you got a job that allowed you, say, to maybe save some money or build any kind of investments. Where did you go next in terms of...
So I had ended up getting a job offer to work at IGM right after just about a year working on the corner. You meet some interesting people.
So this is Investors Group?
Yeah, Investors Group. Okay. Yeah. So I had kind of gone through the interview process, and I got the job, and then I knew probably what the average person knew about finance at that point. And then I learned so much more when I had started that job because you have to get licenses.
They train you.
Yeah, you can't even touch a portfolio for 6 months or longer.
And because you're working for Plan just before this, and so you're not used to making tons of money or anything.
No.
So you're like, okay, I can deal with not having any clients yet and build it up. But did they help you find clients?
They did. They helped a lot. Had a fantastic division leader. Training was phenomenal. Like it was a really good office. It was a really good experience, especially because I was younger when I started.
Yeah,
I think I might have been the youngest person in the office when I started at the time.
Now, what about the products you were selling, though?
Yeah, so the products, we were licensed for mutual funds, insurance, and then we had specialists that dealt with specifically with stocks, bonds, every kind of financial instrument you could possibly think of to use. We had it available, mortgages, and so we kind of learned the different strategies that I would say wealthier people use for building wealth versus maybe the average person, and trying to teach some of the clients we were trying to get how to implement those strategies to maximize, what they're currently doing. So a lot of people who had just had money sitting in like a savings account,
and then
inflation eating it
something
away.
Better.
Yeah.
And were you worried at all about the high fees, or did that come up? Were you able to counter that while you were there, or was that always still a problem?
It was a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I want to say about that.
What year was this?
So this was 2014.
So this is when the robos are just coming out.
Yes, exactly.
And when everyone's talking about ETFs and 2.5% mutual fund fees and deferred sales charges.
Yes.
Okay, so you're right in the thick of it.
Right in the thick of it.
Okay, so were you able to make sure that if you did have deferred sales charges on somebody's fund, that they knew exactly what that meant?
Yes, you had to.
Were you careful about that?
Yeah, very. Because the whole thing was like at that point, IG was one of the last places that actually had DSC. And so it was a struggle because a lot of people were like, "Why would I lock up my money for that long when I could just, do it over here?"
I know, and what if I need to take it out?
Exactly.
And people want to be able to be portable.
Exactly, yeah. So it was definitely, you had to just show that it was about the personalization aspect, like that real service.
Added value.
The added value.
And of course, some people get a bad reputation because they didn't really provide any added value. But I'm going to assume that you did.
I would like to feel like I did, definitely, yeah.
You went above and beyond. So you had a nice roster of clients.
Yeah.
And, a good friend of mine is high up in IG, so I don't want to talk too much about it in terms of specifics, but I don't like deferred sales charges in general, which mostly they're gone, right? Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't an investors group specific problem, right? And I'm pretty sure they explained it to me. When I had my funds, I did write a post about how deferred sales charges kick me where it hurts.
Oh, really?
Because they did, because, it's not that I wasn't informed about them, I just didn't know anything about investments. Right, so once you learn about investments, you're like, I did what?
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, I interviewed Barry Choi, and he had an experience with deferred sales charges where his person did not explain. And he said specifically, I'm saving up for a down payment on a house.
Oh,
so to put something in there, yeah, exactly, right. So he was able to go through that, and we won't name the company because he couldn't name the company. We can all guess who it was, but we can't name the company because he settled with them because somebody made a mistake. But the majority of people that actually, had these deferred sale charges or high fee mutual funds were told about what they were. Yeah, they was explained to them. So how long did you do this?
I was there just over 2 years.
Okay, yeah. And so you built up a nice supply of clients.
I did.
And you feel like you helped them move forward because, 100%. Like you said, a lot of people were doing nothing with their money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right? And if they have full disclosure, I always say, if you're okay with paying 2.5% mutual funds, that's fine. Or whatever it is you pick, just as long as you know.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I ever have an argument with is if people don't know, right? I want to make sure that they know that there's options out there. But as you said, everybody has different preferences. When I ask people why do you still go to your bank branch? Or why do you pay bank fees? Because they like the loyalty. Right, so your clients, maybe they liked you and they trusted you and all this stuff. So
and that's worth something.
There's a precedent. You're right. It's worth something. You got to get paid.
Yeah.
So I get that, right? But for people who, if they're not getting a lot of value, then it doesn't really, hurt to switch to lower fees, right? So I think it's a good conversation to have, right? Some people add value and some people don't. And let's move on past these kids. They're going to be
children.
Okay, so you use your plan experience, I guess, or even, was the negotiation at the yard sales, was that did that prepare you for all of this?
You know, I mean, it's all it's all been just build up. I feel like you know, when I was in high school and in college, I also was doing event promoting.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd sell tickets.
Oh, great.
For events.
Okay.
So that was sales, and then I was
like a natural thing for you.
You know, nature nurture, kind of a little bit of both.
I guess so.
Think.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy being with people.
Yeah, because we don't not everybody has those skills, right? I mean, I know people who would never ever would want to sell anything or run their own business. You know, it's one of those things. And
sales is a dirty word. That's the thing. People are like, it's a dirty word, and yet we are like, nothing moves without being sold.
Okay, you're working for IG for a couple of years. You're liking it, but you didn't stay.
No, I didn't. You mentioned the robo-advisors.
Yes. Okay.
I've always been a real tech person.
Yeah.
And I looked at what was happening in the industry with the DSC, with the the move into people being able to do this themselves, and I was like, I don't know if I'll still have a job in 4 or 5 years if this trend continues.
You're thinking out long term.
Yeah. Because like getting clients is hard work, So if you're going to take that time to do that, you might as well put it into doing something different that's maybe more effective if the long-term prospects aren't great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good outlook. Okay, so where did you head?
So I went into recruiting.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted to work closer in tech. And so I kind of was looking at what market I thought was most anti-fragile. And I was like, okay, if I do tech recruiting, the tech is growing exponentially.
Yeah.
And it uses a lot of the same skills that I've already kind of built. So let me try that. And that was great.
So you're recruiting for like tech firms?
For tech positions.
Yeah, tech positions. Okay.
Yeah.
So and what made you qualified to do this, or how did you get the job, or how did that work out?
Yeah, I just I had applied, and then I had not gotten a lot of offers back at the time, and so I ended up partnering with somebody, and we kind of started our own.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you could do it, but like I was just trying to get to.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in somewhere if you don't already do the thing.
Yeah.
The chicken and the egg sort of situation. It's like, I think I'm going to be good at this, but I don't have any experience. Please give me some experience.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, so you started your own. What was it called?
It was called New Concept Recruiting. Still exists.
Still exists. Okay,
Yep.
but are you still part of it?
I've stepped down. I've stepped away.
Yeah.
Because I'm working on something different now.
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, my partner, she's still going at it. She's doing really well.
Yeah, okay, but so to speak of something different, you are in that same space.
Yeah.
So what's the new company?
So it's called Smart Refer. Basically, while I was working in recruiting, I saw kind of a lot of the inefficiencies and how companies were finding talent and some of the exorbitant costs when it comes to paying for outsourced recruiters. Like, I'm not sure if you know this, but it's about $20,000 to $30,000 per position in tech if you want to outsource it to a firm to find.
That's how much it costs?
Yeah.
But you maybe, I don't know, what are you paying them, $100,000 a year or something like
that?
Exactly.
So it's usually 20 to 30% of their first year salary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be free. I don't know why.
I don't know that.
I don't know why. Well, somebody's just going to come to me because I'm a good company to work for. And that happens.
It does happen, but the issue is...
You don't find the right people?
You don't find the right people, and companies that have a lot of money can outmuscle the startups who don't have a lot of resources to get that talent.
Of course.
So you have companies like, the Googles and the Facebooks that everybody wants to go to.
And they're going to offer them everything.
Everything, the world and the sun and the moon, and then the smaller ones don't really have any leverage. Right? So...
Yeah, no, I get that. And good tech people, are they hard to find still?
Hard to find.
Really? Yeah, you're getting experience firsthand.
Hard to find. We had a 2 million tech worker skill shortage in North America last year.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So, if you go into tech now, which maybe all of us regret that we didn't, all right?
Oh, we're all going to be in it one way or another.
We're in it. We're in it in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm technically in fintech, if you will.
You are.
But the guys who get the big bucks are the people who can program things.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is
For
that a
sure.
good sort of broad description? If you know how to program or code something.
Yes. If you can code or if you can sell software.
Okay, yeah. So the sales positions are still very valuable, just as much, right?
Yeah, very lucrative.
The code people cannot
sell for the most part. No offense, guys, if you're listening, but there's a rare individual who has both. But it's like most enterprise salespeople can't code.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's the Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak comparison, right?
Yeah.
Wozniak was the guy who made the Apple computer,
Yep.
and Steve Jobs is the one who made it. People want to buy it.
Yeah, I mean they were both coders, but was just way.
Steve Jobs probably could code in a basic sort of way,
exactly.
right? Like not a Bill Gates was more of a combo, or no?
I don't quote me on this, but I believe he could actually code quite well.
And of course, then he was the business guy
he was,
too.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a good example. But of course, that's why he's in the book Outliers.
Yes.
By Malcolm Gladwell, because he definitely is an outlier.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So just advice to anybody out there: get into tech.
Yeah. Get into tech. Find a way. I mean, it's everywhere. It's every job. I felt like people still make this distinction with tech companies, but every company is now a tech company.
You're so right. Every company needs. If you don't have any tech component, I mean, what would a tech person do in a company that doesn't seem like tech? They would do all the web stuff.
Yeah, well, exactly. You have the website, the online marketing,
user experience.
The UX UI for sure. User experience, user interface.
My brother does that stuff.
Fantastic!
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. I mean, it's really hard work to do.
It's because you can code something, but to make it usable, to make it friendly
is a whole other.
So Smart Refer.
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing? What's your added value there?
Yeah.
Versus your old company.
For sure. So basically, we wanted to put the power in the hands of people as opposed to them being forced to rely on outsourced recruiters.
Yes.
So with this, you can basically aggregate anyone in your social networks into the application.
Nice.
And then you can send them referrals for jobs that are posted on Smart Refer.
Yeah.
And if they get hired or somebody they refer gets hired, you get paid.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, everybody's in this? You're talking about, me, I could do this?
100%.
Okay, so what's the process for me? I get a Smart Refer app?
Sure, you download the app.
Yeah.
You take a look, and so it's going to show you companies who have their jobs externally shown on the platform, so that you can see, JavaScript developer, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you could apply for that yourself.
Yeah, if I wanted.
Or you could press send referral. It will bring up all your contacts. And you can search through based on their job titles.
Yeah, I know somebody who's been looking for JavaScript work.
Exactly,
and
right?
I can
send it to them.
Okay.
They apply. You have your own special tracker. So we know you were the one who sent it forward. They apply. You get paid $2,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think I just found my next career. So what's the benefit for you? How do you make money off of this?
So we basically come to an arrangement with the company that's posting the jobs on there for how much they feel like they can afford, and we pay that referral fee from us. We pay it to the person who sent the referral, and then we also give a signing bonus to the new hire.
And then, of course, you would get
whatever's
higher money,
that.
whatever's left, whatever's you negotiate as the appropriate amount to pay out to the person, and the signing bonus.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you come up with this?
This is your idea. My baby. Yeah, it was. I had been doing a lot of calls. Recruiting, you're always cold calling.
Yeah, you're in the shit. If you will.
Exactly. And so I felt like I got off another call where somebody was basically like, I can't afford this.
Yeah,
I can't afford your fees.
I couldn't believe it was right? $20,000 to $30,000.
Yeah, and we were way lower than that, by the way. Because I was like 20. That's okay. We did like 15, which is way below most market. But people appreciated that. We worked with a lot of smaller and medium-sized businesses. So. I got off another call with somebody who, they couldn't afford the fee, and I was just like, man, there's got to be a way to allow smaller companies to use what they already have to try and source this top tier talent. And so I realized that we're all 1 or 2 degrees separated from amazing people, right?
Yeah, we really are. I mean, LinkedIn is perfect for that.
Exactly.
And like you said, I'm not in that space. Mm-hmm. So I might because it's funny, because I worked in a residence internet program in university, I know a bunch of comp sci people.
Okay.
And some of them went on to work for Uber and Google and such, right? And so, I'm not in their space, so I don't pay attention to what it is, but if they said, hey, I'm looking for this job or whatever, and I just happen to somehow have somebody on my side, or it's a very
exactly
so you're leveraging social media and the knowledge, and you're just able. So is it tough? Are you able to convince people this is the way to go? How does it process? You're still starting,
we're
right?
in beta testing with a bunch of companies downtown right now, and so far it's been going well. It's been going really well, and I feel like the most powerful thing about what we do is that if you're a company and you get referrals from your employees, you can really only reward your employees.
Yeah.
Right? They can only get 1 degree of separation or 2 degrees of separation from that person.
That's right, because that's what happens. You get an internal referral,
exactly.
You get $2,000 or whatever the company is promising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With us, we're using blockchain. So now, using smart contracts, we can go 100 people. So a chain of people. So easiest analogy, imagine an apple pie.
Yeah.
When somebody gets hired, everybody that was a part of sending that referral forward gets a slice of that apple pie.
Because it's all captured in the blockchain,
exactly.
which is a chain of blocks of information that is basically the irrefutable
ledger
and uneditable. And so you can, because sometimes I worry when I make an affiliate sale, somebody clicks on it, then maybe it just doesn't trace through, right? Or the cookie expires. And will I really make money? And how can I trust that all of the people that clicked on my links will go through there? And maybe in the future when affiliate links are through blockchain, I won't worry about that much. But I feel like there's a lot of ways that stuff can go wrong. And I guess the benefit that I've heard about blockchain is that things going wrong is a very low risk, very low risk. So how did you think about that? Like, you don't have experience in blockchain or training, do you? That kind of tech?
No, I've always kind of been a techie, so I've always stayed kind of up to date on what's going on, and I understood blockchain pretty well at the time, and enough that I kind of roughly conceptualized an idea that, hey, we could probably connect people anywhere in the world using this to send referrals, because we're becoming an increasingly globalized society.
Absolutely.
People move everywhere. People know everyone in other countries, right?
Yeah.
Relatives, whatever it is. And so I was like, if a big problem companies are having is getting talent here, then why don't we create a way for them to get qualified people anywhere in the world, and have that option to bring them here or work remotely?
I think you're right, because everyone just kind of thinks like, oh yeah, because you're close enough to come in for an interview.
Yeah.
But my cousin was in New York, got a job in Amsterdam, then London, and now Berlin.
Exactly.
Right? And if you thought, and he was interviewing for jobs in LA and wherever else the jobs are available. So if you expand, if you think outside the box, and I guess if you have money to fly all these places, or at least do a Skype interview or whatever it is, then the sky's the limit. And I really like that aspect. Risk is coming to mind with a lot of the stuff you're talking about.
Okay.
So first of all, the risk of a startup, right? I don't know if you can talk about that a bit. So I mean, we don't have to delve into it too much, but how does somebody start a company? How do you take that risk, and do you need funding, or what is it? Did you do this on your own?
I bootstrapped it myself, yeah.
And how did you do that? You were able to save up enough money?
I had savings from before,
yeah.
And I was working for a bit when I first started SmartRefer as well, but then I realized time-wise I needed to put a bit more time towards SmartRefer, so I had stepped down from the recruiting. Also, I realized there was a conflict. I couldn't recruit and then also kind of build something that's maybe going to displace some recruiters.
That's right, you're replacing yourself.
Kinda, so
it's like if you went to work for a robo while you were at IG.
Exactly, kind of.
But knowing your, you know a lot about investments and risk. From where you came from, you got a lot of training. You are licensed.
Yes.
That means you would have your CSC,
I do.
an insurance license, mutual fund selling license. What else? You got more?
So I did the IFIC, the CSC, the LQP, and I was going for my CFA, and I left before.
Yeah, of course. And I always find it fascinating when people have licenses for things that they don't really need anymore, or do.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically, all this stuff is taught you about investing and risk. And so when you decided to do this, did all of that training sort of come into play? Like, hey, maybe I could just invest the money that I have and get a better return than taking a risk on this startup.
For sure, that's a good point. I feel like most people who start businesses, it's not about the money.
Okay.
In the beginning, it's literally I felt like a man possessed.
Sure.
I had this thing that
came
to life, and I was like, I don't care what it takes. I need to bring this into the world.
That's right.
I'll sacrifice whatever it is. Right?
I know.
And so I was, and risk wise, it's risk is all about time horizon.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, okay, I could try this for a couple of years. If it doesn't work out, I'm still a relatively young guy. I can get back on my feet and I can make money.
And maybe you had enough money to carry yourself forward.
Exactly.
And you're still relying on that original funding then?
Yeah, so we're bootstrapping. We're actually looking to raise a little bit now.
Yep.
We have some private investors who've been talking to us who are really interested in what we're doing.
But you got to get it started. That's the thing. And why? Not everybody would do what you did. And you're saying that it was this kind of creative spark and this you needed to go and do this. It was something that you almost couldn't say no to. But a lot of the times that ends up for people in total destruction. But you seem to be not afraid of failure.
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
right?
I was conditioned, being rejected 99%.
That's it.
It's
such a great skill. Do you find it's like your magic power?
Resilience is the most important thing, I think, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to just maybe life, just the ability to keep going no matter what. Like, yeah, there's a point where you have to look at things and be like, okay, maybe this isn't for me.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But more than often, people just give up before they kind of break through.
They think that I'll never be able to do this, right? Like, everything's been done.
Yeah.
Anything I do will be redundant.
Yeah, a lot of it's, so getting started is the hardest part, and then just going through the ups and downs, those battles, I feel like it's been so informative doing this and going through this whole process with the startup, and the one thing I can say is, like, nothing is linear.
No.
Like nothing in life is
That's
not like,
right,
it's not a video game where you level up. It's a whole lot of nothing, and then all of a sudden you'll have like 8 things that are going on. You're like, whoa, because the work you did adds up, right? It compounds just like money.
Well, let's trace how I got connected to you.
Yeah.
Right? So, first of all, I decide I'm going to focus a little bit also on my bookkeeping coach business.
Okay.
And because I'm a QuickBooks Pro advisor,
Yeah.
right? And so I go to QuickBooks Connect conference.
Yeah.
And who do I see speaking at the QuickBooks Connect conference? Someone who is not in the finance or accounting space, Hamza Khan, who wrote The Burnout Gamble about burnout.
Yes, Student Life Network.
I was impressed by his presentation, which was about 90% on Drake. Right? And he, so much so, he even said, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say about Drake. But it was a good example about somebody who just went for it.
Yeah.
Because his tagline is, or his tagline for that presentation was do things and tell people.
Yep.
Right? If you do things and you tell people, then that's how you get connected.
Yes.
That's how things grow, right?
Yes.
So, and I was like, Hamza, and I was interviewing, I'm looking for interesting people, people who I'm not already connected to, because obviously I'm going to be getting interviews with people who already know who I am,
Yeah.
or you're going to say, okay. And so he thought of you, and then he threw me over, and like, I like that you have a little bit of a finance background, and then, I just wanted to tell your story. Yeah. But how random is that? And would I have just like, because I'm not in recruiting, because I don't really follow that side of the tech space, I might not have ever stumbled across your company. Maybe I would have, maybe not.
Maybe not,
right?
Yeah.
But I might have just overlooked it too.
Yep.
And now it's like, no, I feel it's going to be like 90% of my future income. Right? So everybody listening, I'm going to be referring a lot of jobs to you. I need my $2,000 a job, or whatever it is you're offering. So, like, you're in beta testing, but can people do this now?
Well, they can sign up to do beta with us.
Yeah, okay. So you can give it a try.
Yep,
And
so
do you need
on
a
the
lot
site.
of beta testers?
We need as many as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
so smartrefer.io.
Yep, smartrefer.io.
I remember that from earlier.
You can just sign right up there, and we'll reach out to you after you just put in some information in the bottom. It's right there. And we'll reach out
I'll
to you.
put the link in, and just like anything, this might be a long-term thing. Maybe there won't be something that is up your alley, or that people but the more people that sign up, then the more people that will put jobs on there.
Exactly.
And if we help this kind of thing grow, then it's. I guess I'm trying to think of the overall world benefit here.
Well, the whole thing is that people send referrals for free right now. They want to help. The stats show that the number one reason people send referrals is to help people they know.
Yeah.
They don't even care about money. Right? And so
that's true.
Right? But they don't. If somebody you know needs help with getting a job, we all need a job. We all want to make sure people we know are okay. And so why not, in a world like this, still get rewarded for something you're willing to do for free anyways?
That's right.
Everybody, I feel like a lot of people now are moving towards having like side hustles.
Yep, exactly.
We have the gig economy, Fiverr.com or Upwork. We have people who are doing just side projects, and Uber, right, is a great example. I feel like having different avenues to make extra money makes a massive difference in anybody's life. Even if it's a couple $100 a month, that's huge.
Choose yourself mentality, right? It's multiple sources of income.
Exactly.
Because we're not going to be able to rely on one source of income for much longer.
Yes.
You got to kind of have at least a little bit of an ability to look out for yourself.
Yep.
And maybe you'll get a job with a company, and maybe that's what you want. And I don't want people to think that they can rely on that, and that's any less risky.
Yes.
Right?
I talk
you
about
probably
this all the time.
You get this a lot, right? Like, why would you take a chance on this? Like, why would you leave?
Depending on one person for your livelihood is very risky.
Because they decide when you leave.
Yeah. I talk to my brother and a lot of other people about this. Constantly build skills.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Yeah.
Build skills, learn, network, And if you don't have an idea or something, like, it will come. Just like do your best to try and find other ways of making even a little bit of money.
Be open, right?
Yeah.
Like for you to just walk up to a Plan Canada person, not be like, yeah, I'm not interested, but them like to talk to them for long enough.
Yeah.
To say, I think you'd be good at this. And you to actually say, okay.
Yeah, I'm open. I've always been,
I'll do it.
Looking for something interesting. Yeah.
Right? But we're so, like, I feel like, and hopefully not so much anymore, but we're so closed off, right? We're like, this is my path.
Yeah.
Like, even if, like, you didn't even feel restricted to, like, I got all these licenses, I got to use them.
Yeah.
I took 95% of my CGA courses. I almost got my certified general accounts.
Okay.
Before I became CPA. And right at the end, among other things that were going on in my life, I was just like, I don't want this. I don't want this. And it doesn't mean just because I got all of this education doesn't mean I have to keep going on this path, right? And so, I guess the lesson is never let anyone tell you what's what.
Exactly.
If you have something that you are, I guess, passionate or motivated to look into to do, take a chance, especially if it doesn't cost you much. But then at a certain point, maybe just take a chance. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
You go get a job again.
Exactly.
Like, you're young. A lot of people are young. And they have time, and just I feel like, don't throw away your life just on I got a steady paycheck, but I hate my job.
Regrets are your life. You have one life that we know of. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And so, your working years, it's the majority of your life. You have to do something that not only makes you happy, but if something happens, you can still pivot to something else, like having other sources of income. We don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. With the advances in technology, the safest bet is to just keep building skills and be open, because who knows? Who knows what's going on with AI? Who knows?
That's
Who
right.
knows?
I mean, a lot of people are putting all their chips in there, but you're right. There's a lot of things that we don't know. And so it's very, very similar to investing.
Yeah, it is.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Don't do it. Diversify.
Exactly. And then in the same respect, it even helps to keep a low overhead, save up the money.
Yep.
Because you want to be able to take a chance, and you don't want to be crippled. Like, I'll go back to the RESP situation. You didn't have school debt when you came out. You had more freedom, more choice.
Yep.
And I feel like we're all trapped by various things, maybe our life situation, maybe we grew up in poverty, so we don't have a lot of options unless somebody helps us out, right? Or we take on debt, which is our choice, and then we're trapped by that.
Yes.
Or we make one wrong decision and we don't have an emergency fund to pick
yes,
it up, right?
Right?
There's that kind of thing. And so, there's a lot to be said for preparing for this, but also taking chances when you can, and not be so restricted. So.
On the education side of things, I have a bit of an unpopular opinion with this.
Okay, yeah.
I personally think that people should maybe take some time after high school and not rush into university or college.
I hear you.
Because the amount of debt you take on at a young age, and you might not have a real understanding of what that means moving forward. If you weren't taught that, you were just kind of taught to just go straight to school.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you're really doing something that you feel like you want to do, because you're spending your future dollars on it when you're getting loans. So
you are kind of putting yourself in a prison.
Putting yourself in a prison. So you really have to just take a real hard look. Don't do it because somebody else is telling you this is the course you need to pursue.
Right.
Like, really look at, do I need to take on this amount of debt to do this thing, or is there another way for me to do it?
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Just kind of looking at your options, because it's, it matters. It matters a lot. I know too many people who are just so stressed out.
And they just follow whatever process they think. It's the checklist.
The checklist, exactly.
The checklist is like the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to do the school, you got to go to university and be in debt. Apparently, being in debt is part of the checklist.
It's part of the checklist.
Unless your parents did the RESP or you get the scholarship, as you did. But then, like, okay, now I got to get that career job and stay in it forever.
Yep.
Get the house, get the kids. Whatever order those want to be in. We don't have to follow this checklist that someone somewhere decided was the way that you should live. 9 to 5. It was just like Henry Ford or whoever did this. It was just a way to get people working in the factory.
Exactly.
We don't do this stuff anymore, right?
Exactly.
Retiring at 65 was just because someone was too old to work the machinery or lift a bag of something. It doesn't have to be that. It can be earlier, it can be later. You don't have to retire ever.
You don't.
Only if you have health conditions should you stop doing. We're mostly knowledge workers now, right? So, even if you're not, like, you don't have to follow the rules. You can work and retire at 45. There's so many options out there, and I think that's a good theme and a good way to end this is keep your options open.
Keep your options open.
And I just want to promote that a lot. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And I think we need to talk about people who are doing this and are happy with their life, right? And like you said, it's like you got a lot of things to fall back on because you decided to learn about a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
Right? And that's it. I'm really glad you came on the show.
Yeah,
man.
Bo, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, all good.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Cheers.
If you like this episode, please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. It would mean a lot to me, and it only takes a few seconds. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Personal Finance Show. Next week, my guest will be Ian Clark, former CFO of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment and current CFO of the Greater Toronto Airport Authority.